Femininity Coach April Mason has officially given up on women. Apparently, she just released this post that announced that she is going to be discontinuing her dating academy. Now, before I give my opinion on the matter, I want to read her post just so you can get an idea of her thoughts and her reasons. The post read, "After 10 plus years of helping women in this area, it's time to move on. I've had dozens of success stories from women who are now married, engaged, or dating high caliber men. My track record speaks for itself. However, the majority that come to me have unrealistic expectations, the selfishness, fake everything, think they should be chosen because they have a vagina and good looks, the entitlement, just mean, not knowing the difference between being a woman and a wise woman, and will fight you to be strong, not knowing how to be versus do. Thinking being a feminine woman is weak or a pick-me, whatever that is. Playing the blame and not taking responsibility or accountability for the choices they made in men. Being disagreeable, defensive, argumentative about everything. Always finding something to nitpick about, looking for perfection. If you mention anything about doing something kind for the man, they choose it's the, what is he going to do for me? And the list goes on. Now, this doesn't excuse men's behavior. A lot of men think because they are high earning, it makes them high value. Not. I have just made my contribution and an impact in this area for decades to come. I have over 50 courses that women who may need help in this area can rent or buy on my website, link in bio. New courses will be added this week. A wise woman knows how to exit on a high note." So that said a lot. Couple of things. What a damning report for a woman who has helped probably dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of women. Now, she obviously has nothing to gain by sharing such a harsh critique. Like, there's no way this would benefit her from saying these things, and she is obviously a femininity coach. So why would she say something that is just so outlandish and in many ways can be seen as being judgmental? Well, I would argue because this is actually the case. Unfortunately, there really is a large population of women who embody just this. Now, of course, I will never say this is all women because I know too many women who I find to be lovely individuals who are just have great hearts, who are great with their family, who are just have great character. So I will never be a person that says this is 100% of all modern women today, because that's just not true. I have too many people in my life that I know that do not resemble this. But I also know that there is an incredible high amount of women who do exhibit this kind of character. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I legitimately used to think that women had it worse. I used to feel like, man, all these dudes out here that don't want to commit, they don't want to step up to the plate, they're just sleeping around. Like, I had all these ideas. And it wasn't until I really started to hear the other side of things and until I started to look at the fuller picture that I really started to understand just how difficult it is for men out there. Of course, there are men who do have bad character. The Pookies and Ray Rays do exist, and they create a ton of damage in all communities, Black communities, white communities. I mean, there's always going to be those bad boy types that women are attracted to that, just give a bad reputation for all men in general. But there are also they're just really disgusting women with horrible character. I don't know how else to say it. There are women who have issues that need to be addressed. And I've encountered this more and more. And unfortunately, we do live in a culture where women just can't be critiqued for certain things. Black women can't be critiqued for certain things. I even said, even in Black culture, it's very common to talk about the dad, to talk about the men in the family, to bash them, to complain about them. That is commonplace. But you better not ever talk about mama. That is that's just off the charts. Like, that's just not even in the conversation. You don't ever talk about mama. She could be wrong as two left shoes. She could have been abusive. She could have been all these kind of different things, but you just cannot talk about her. And that code is written into our culture. And so I think that in some ways has translated, at least in Black culture, is translated to the point to where you can't always have an honest discussion about the good or the bad that, maybe Black women have done in a family. And I feel like that has just seeped into the overall culture in general. Of course, Black people, Black women, Black men, there are just certain narratives that impact us just by and large. But I have found this just, being a woman, being a Black woman in the space, that Black women in particular can't necessarily always be criticized without it being seen as, misogynoir. Now, what's interesting about this post is, she makes this a general statement. And from my understanding, she deals with women from all different backgrounds, all different ethnic backgrounds, all different ethnicities. And so I'm not going to say that this character is just something you found within the Black community. I mean, I know modern women of different ethnic backgrounds, different ethnicities who are just as crazy as can be. Maybe white as can be, maybe Latina as can be, and they're crazy. And so, like I said, crazy is not an ethnicity. It is not a race. It is a state of mind, and it is alive and well today. Now, here's something else that I want to add and notice. The thing that I find the most interesting is that this was actually already prophesied. This was spoken about long ago. I mean, the Bible, the wisdom text prophesied that this was going to happen and take place, and we are seeing this play out in modern times. I want to read this passage that I came across not too long ago that reminded me the time that we are in and just helped me get a grasp on what to expect. It reads this. But understand this, in the last days, terrible times will come. For men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, without love of God, treacherous, reckless, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. Turn away from such these. They are the kind who worm their way into households and captivate vulnerable women who are weighed down with sins and led astray by various passions, who are always learning but never able to come to a knowledge of the truth. I'm gonna read this again. They are the kind who worm their way into households and captivate vulnerable women who are weighed down with sins and led astray by various passions, always learning but never able to come to knowledge of the truth. I will say this. We live in a time where there are many women who are being captivated and many women who are being led astray by false ideas, by false doctrines, by false ideologies. I mean, the spirit is out there. And to me, this is what this post is showing. This post is reminding me that what was prophesied long ago is coming to pass. That it is time for me to make sure that I am spiritually ready. It is time to make sure that my relationship with God is on point, because the time is changing. It's the atmosphere is shifting. So when I see things like this, it's like not even for me to necessarily get upset. I feel like I have the responsibility to try to be the light. I have the responsibility to try to represent something better, to try to represent something good, to hopefully, be constructive, maybe have good conversations with women, maybe hash these different things. So women out there who do want to be better and who don't want to fall into the deception, who don't want to fall into being hard-hearted, into being, just overtaken by all this insanity, and who truly want to have sanity in their life and truly want to have a peaceful life and a good relationship with God. It's like, I hope to have conversations like that. I hope to,